What's up, guys? Today I'm working on a 2005 Bentley and it is spectacular. Now we're going to talk about how to properly clean glass, but before we do, if you notice here on the car, I've actually left ammo skin. Now normally what you would do is use the glass or clean the glass last. Most common, everybody does that, and I do that too. But when I'm using ammo skin, I like to put it on the entire car, then do the glass, then remove it if I'm not going to leave it overnight, which is the extra step or the trick. And since this is a customer's car and I'm not going to be sleeping over his house tonight, I'm going to give this as much time as it possibly can. And basically, you know, I've done the interior and now I'm doing the glass. And when I'm done, the last step will be to remove the skin. But talking about glass, we're going to go over a couple of different towels, a couple of different pads. We have some cleaners, Rain-X, razor blades, and clay, and that's all going to be used to actually clean and remove all the gunk from years of driving on this Bentley. So let's get started. Now before we get into my steps on how to properly clean the glass, I want to go over a couple of the towels. There's so many things to choose from. I think it's important to discuss each. This is a waffle weave towel. As you can see, it's got a little bit of dimples in there and actually looks like a waffle. Not a bad towel to use. It's got very low pile, so it's pretty good. This one I call a medium pile. It's in between big and small, and I'll take a zoom in shot of that. This is one of my favorite. This is a low pile glass towel. There's really nothing to it. And then of course our traditional microfiber, which is the high pile. So there's multiple ones here that you can go through, and each one has its own use when cleaning the glass, and we'll talk about that right now. All right, the first thing I like to do when I'm working glass is I take Stoner Invisible Glass, which is really great. A lot of them have you know, a big concern about ammonia. I've never run into that when you're using it on tinted glass, so I just don't use ammonia. Although it cuts through grease and grime really well, I don't think it's necessary. So I'm a big fan, Stoner Invisible Glass. There you go. I put a little bit on there, and I use that basically as lubrication. So I'll put that to the side. Next, I take a razor blade. See the razor blade in there? And it has a you know, little arm. These are super helpful to get the registration off. Really nice. So I take these, and you can use it without it as well. It's just easier to hold. And since this is all lubricated, so I'm only using the glass cleaner as lubrication right now. And I'll come in and I'll just do straight lines like this. Basically what I'm doing is just chopping off, and you can see it in the water here, or in the glass cleaner. It's all kind of gunky. So I'm basically getting as close as you possibly can. I'm shaving, if you will, just like you do your face. I'm shaving off any of the nasty little particles that have been wedged into this glass. Well, and getting bugs out is really easy with this. So you're basically just kind of plowing here. So you get that whole area, and there's a little bit of boogers on there too. You take it off, right? So now I've basically, just like your skin, I've kind of shaved off all of the whiskers, so to speak, that are in the glass. Next, you take some clay, same thing, a little bit of glass cleaner. Mind you, it's still dirty, or it's still wet already. Take my clay, and then I'll clay the area as well. So not only did I just cut off any of the whiskers, now I'm pulling out any of the, let's call it pimples. You know, you're pulling it out of the skin of the glass. Does that make sense? Kind of a weird analogy, but so now I'm claying the glass so it's super smooth. All right. Yeah, lots of gunk in there. Then I will take my thin, really low pile glass towel and wipe it clean. Now with a normal wash, what I would have done is I would have finished up with a thick pile microfiber towel, dry, and just lightly buffed anything off to try to avoid the streaks, which we all know happens and we hate them. But I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to go all the way through the steps and show you something else. All right, so remember, this is a foam pad, right? Polishing. Then I have a microfiber, these are old, microfiber cutting pad, right? For the paint. This is a glass polishing pad. So let me hold these up. Now you see the thickness? This is super thin because glass is really hard. So what you would want to do you know, on this step here, if you weren't just going to finish and go off driving or do whatever, and you really wanted to polish the glass, this is the next step. Polishing the glass is much like polishing the paint. It's just with a different pad because glass is much harder. So we're going to put this on our Garros DA. I'm going to put a little bit of glass polish here, and I'll show you in a second. All right, I'll work it in. So I got myself a little bit of glass polish. Put this over my shoulder, not to scratch the paint. Spread it in a little bit while it's off. And we're going to zip it up to about 5 or 6, about 5.5. Spread it in and work one little area, 2 by 2. Now once you're done polishing, there's going to be a little bit of residue left over. Just lightly hit it with some glass cleaner. Take the thick pile microfiber towel and just kind of scoop it off. All right, just going to pick up all the leftover residue. There it is. And we're going to wipe it clean. And you'll see it'll evaporate pretty nicely, and the glass is going to look like glass. Ha! That's going to look pretty good. All right, there it is. Now what I'd like to do is take the glass cleaner again, hit it, and then I use my thin glass towel to really kind of get the last little bits up. Flip it over to the dry side. Now you can clean it this way, or if you have another microfiber towel, or you can flip this one, the original one, the high pile. I like to lightly go over it quickly, just to kind of reduce any streaks. So remember, I initially clean with this, and then I come back and clean with the high microfiber pile. Make sense? Now as a last step, what I like to do is add a little Rain-X, or you can actually see there's companies out there, this one in particular is Nanolex, makes glass coatings. Now I think they're both great. You know, this one probably lasts a tiny bit longer, but you know, at the end of the day, there's a little side note here. When it talks about coatings, either the paint or the glass or leather or anything like that, they're great, they're very strong, but they don't last forever, just like anything else, like wax, sealant, you know, any cleaner, anything. They don't last forever. And just like anything else, there's a routine or a regimen to keep your car clean. You're never just going to put something on and say, all right, I'm done. I don't have to wash or touch it, and you can shoot laser beams at it and nothing's going to happen. So that's important. So I like to use Rain-X. I think it lasts just as long as I want it to last, and then I reapply it. So what you do is I have a foam applicator. This one actually comes out of one of my boxes, believe it or not, and I have tons of foam lying around, so you can use a foam applicator pad or just anything you find here. So you put a little bit on, right, squirt it in there, and you want to use circular motions. You know, I'm not a big fan of circles, but when it comes to glass and you're trying to basically penetrate the glass with this hydrophobic material, and hydrophobic basically means doesn't like water, so that's why it beads so much. So I'm going to put that in. Put another little drop here, and I like to work 1/2. As you can see, I'm working half the windshield just because I can't reach the other side and I don't want to scratch the paint. So I'm just going to keep working this in, and essentially you want it to dry to a haze, and once it dries to a haze, you can do two things. You can sprinkle a little bit of water on it and take it off, or you can do just like I'm doing and use a dry microfiber towel and just kind of get all the haze off, and you're good to go. Now the last thing I want to do before we move to the interior of the car, and I'll show you how to clean the inside of the windshield, which is a huge pain in the butt, we want to talk about the windshield wipers. So what I like to do is I take my medium pile. You can either take a medium pile or use a terry cloth because it's going to get dirty. A few squirts of your glass cleaner, hold the windshield wiper, and you're going to basically pinch the windshield wiper with your fingers like this. So I'm going to pinch inside the microfiber towel and run all the way down the rubber. Now there's also a product out there called 303 Aerospace wiper rejuvenators or something along those lines. Also good stuff. I've used that for years, and I don't have any right now. So when I'm in a pinch, I just use this. Yuck. So that's all kinds of muck and things that's obviously wiping on your windshield wipers. So once you clean this and you put a hydrophobic product on your windshield, I mean, it's gonna be night and day. It's gonna look pretty good. Let's move to the interior and I'll show you a quick tip. Now we're working on the inside of the glass, which is very hard to do properly. Now, as you can see, I'm sitting in the driver's seat, and that is problem number one. If I want to go in and try to clean the glass all the way down below, I have to fight the steering wheel. So what do? Come from the other side. Now what you do is you take your thin microfiber towel and you take it with your right hand, and you're going to take and flip upside down and wipe that way. Now if you wipe this way, it doesn't make any sense. So right, take your hand, put it there. Now the big thing is that people ask me, hey, do I spray the windshield here? You can spray the windshield. The problem is that you're going to mist the front of the dashboard here. Now previously, while I'm letting the AMMO skin seal, I've also worked on the inside of the car, and I've put leather conditioner on there. Leather conditioner is oily, of course, because they want to get the pores all nice and soft in the leather. You understand that part. But then if I wipe it with this towel and then put it on the glass, there's going to be streaks everywhere. So that's a bad idea too. So for the interior of the glass, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll spray it on the towel. I'll take my hand just like this and I'll flip it upside down. So now I'm upside down. I can reach, I put my hand over here, and I can reach the bottom angle of the glass, and I go top to bottom, top to bottom. See how I'm not fighting the steering wheel right now? I'm already past it. Top to bottom, just like this. And I'll do one section at a time. So the driver's section, and I'm also looking through, and if you keep tilting your head, you can see if there's any smears or smudges in it. And if you're indoors and you have a light on the ceiling, if you keep moving your head, you can look at that light and you can find any smudges. Next, I take my dry, heavy or big weave microfiber towel, flip it upside down like I did before, and just lightly wipe it so that there's no chance of any streaks. That's how you clean the inside of a glass. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but it's much better than sitting in the driver's seat, which I see all the time. Now, before I forget, one of the big tips too is make sure you fold your towels into fours. A lot of times I see people wiping windows like this. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't, you can't really pick anything up. So always take it, fold it into fours like this, and then once you're done, you can flip it over and then flip it over again, flip it, so you essentially have 8 sides. Now when you're cleaning the head unit, what I like to do is, again, put the tiniest little bit, almost next to nothing, on the towel, and very lightly wipe the head unit. Now you don't want to push too hard, and ideally I almost like to blow a little bit of dust out of here, because you do not want to scratch the head unit. Sometimes I use Plexus, especially in Lamborghinis, or Audis, which are the same make and model, obviously, or manufacturer, because the touchscreens are very, very sensitive, so be careful on that. Same thing goes for the dash here, any of the glass. Always put it on the towel, because if you spray it within the glass or in the front tack in the Speedo here, a lot of times the water or the cleaner will seep behind the glass, and then you're done. It'll stain back there, and the one way you have to get it out is you have to pull the whole dashboard out. I've been there, done that in my earlier years. Do not spray anything, any cleaners or any window cleaners or interior cleaners on the dash. Not a great idea, especially when there's glass involved. If you have any questions, shoot me an email at larry@ammonyc.com. Hopefully this gives you a little bit of an idea of what's going on in the glass department. Whole lot more we can talk about. Until next time, thanks for watching.